Welcome, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. Sometimes Republicans end up being right. And when they're right, I will be the first to admit it. But sometimes these MAGA Republicans are right, not for the reason they claim to be. Let me explain. The MAGA right has been claiming that it is absolute chaos and anarchy in the streets of the United States of America. And they are finally kind of correct. If you look this weekend, and we're going to look at some of the videos, it was absolute chaos. It was lawlessness on the streets of many American cities. But it wasn't because of immigrants. It wasn't because of migrants just working to feed their families. It wasn't because of Antifa. It wasn't Black Lives Matter. It was not Marxists. It wasn't socialists or communists or whatever. It was a result of Donald Trump's goons, Trump's ICE, Trump's deportation forces. Trump's actions are what have finally gotten us to the very chaos and lawlessness on the streets that they originally said were the reason for doing any of this stuff in the first place. I'm going to give you some examples. There are important historical precedents. There is context that is relevant to this idea of generating chaos to justify subsequent crackdowns. You know the playbook. If you've heard Ruth Ben-Ghiat talk to us about it on the show, if you've heard Ann Applebaum talk to us about it on the show, we know the playbook. And they are finally getting the very chaos they claimed they were trying to fix. And some of this stuff is difficult to watch. I'm going to be very upfront with you about that. This isn't a trigger warning. It's just like, this is really horrible, sickening stuff. Here is Trump's ICE slamming an unarmed American citizen to the ground. This one took place near the corner of West 37th and South Kedzie in the Brighton Park neighborhood of Chicago. Take a look at this.
Step back. Step back. I'm on a public floor.
He's not doing anything. You're seeing that. He's not doing anything.
So body slamming, et cetera. Magapotamians and Magadonians will defend this one by saying, well, the guy did swear. Oh my goodness, swearing. Can you imagine? From the free speech absolutist, this guy swore. And also, once he got body slammed, he didn't go limp. So he was resisting. Therefore, he deserves all of it. Absolute chaos on the streets of Chicago, thanks to Trump's goons. We have another video of immigration agents run off. And a man was actually saved from one of these kidnapping abductions. This was on the area of 63rd and Costner Avenue in Chicago. We're going to just play a little bit of this. They spend minutes trying to take this guy. Ultimately, a crowd swarms and the agents run off and ultimately drive off. But this is not the way this country is supposed to function. This is not the way law enforcement is supposed to function. All right, so now they've got a guy. Some of their masks are slipping, literally and figuratively. They've got a guy. All right, and so as we will scrub through here, and you will see they continue trying to take this guy. More individuals join. They continue. It starts to attract the attention of bystanders. And as you can see, this continues and continues and continues. And ultimately, what you will see here, as they have the guy sort of pinned, is that ultimately they run off.
Let him go!
All right, so ultimately they let this guy go. The crowd presumably just getting too big, agents starting to think this could get out of control. Let's get out of here without this guy. Now, I'm the first to acknowledge to you that a lot of these individuals are doing what, in the context of law, order, and due process, would be considered resisting arrest. But the issue is that many of them are being denied due process at the get-go. So you all know that I am not someone that is a scofflaw by nature. I don't go around saying break the law, do this, that, and the other thing. We should work within the legal system. You all know that. But what we have here is a system that is fundamentally outside of that already. We have a system that is denying people due process. We have a system that is sending masked agents, in some cases, in unmarked vehicles without presenting any kind of identification. Is this even law enforcement in some of these cases? And so we really do have to say, on the one hand, I am a supporter of due process and cooperation, and I believe most law enforcement are doing it for the right reason. But we have a situation here that is very different. And when you have an authoritarian president that is deputizing goons to go and from unmarked vehicles without presenting credentials and covering their faces with masks, snatch people up, of course you are going to get chaos. Now, the issue is the chaos is part of what authoritarians want, to then say, well, it's getting really crazy. We've got to now send in the military, which, by the way, is what Trump is doing, and we'll get to that. Here's another video. Jake Sheridan from the Chicago Tribune posted this video. He says an ICE truck was run off thanks to about 24 people surrounding it after it was parked outside of a daycare and subsequently a plant store. All right, so off goes the unmarked ICE truck, and then finally, and we could do this all day, I'm just giving you a sampling. This one's from Los Angeles. 4 male officers tackle a woman outside an ICE facility, and they start even ripping her clothes off.
What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
What the fuck's wrong with you guys?
You cannot detain me. You cannot detain me. You are not allowed. You are allowed to
Oh my God.
You
Oh
are
my
not
God.
allowed to detain me. You are not
Don't touch me.
You are not
Don't fucking touch
You
me.
are not allowed to detain me. You are not allowed to detain me. You are not.
All right, and then off comes her sweatshirt, and it goes on, and it gets worse and more difficult to watch from there. So of critical importance here, the fact that the chaos is being caused by Trump's goons does not mean that we don't have to worry about further escalation. In fact, that's exactly why we have to worry about it. It is a classic authoritarian technique. Generate chaos to justify more militarization and more crackdowns. That's the playbook. Look at how crazy things have gotten. We've got to clamp down more. Let's do curfews. Let's do paperwork checks on everybody. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but that's what we've seen in authoritarian regimes. You create chaos and then you say, we're going to get out there to restore order. You're going to restore order from the chaos that you caused. We saw it in 1930s Germany. Street violence between brown shirts and communists then became the justification for the Nazi police state. In Chile, Pinochet used social unrest as a pretext for his coup. In the US, Nixon's law and order rhetoric turned the anti-war protesters into political theater to try to win elections. So this is what we call manufactured chaos. You could also say it's engineered disorder. And it's meant to get some people to go, we need more policing. We need the police to be stronger because look at how chaotic it is. We need bigger budgets for the crackdowns. We need fewer rights for people. Take rights and ask questions later. And the worst part is that it is working. You've got right-wing media saying, look at this lawlessness under Trump, without mentioning it's his lawlessness. It's his own agents creating the violence. So now local police end up kind of caught between defending their cities and being ordered to assist federal agents in carrying out these raids and treating neighborhoods like occupied zones. And this is how authoritarianism grows. It's not a coup. It's not a declaration. It's the normalization of violence, the normalization of fear. And unfortunately, history tells us what comes next. Because when regimes use fear to justify repression, People end up saying, I'm going to trade some of my liberty for safety. We need it. And they end up usually getting neither. This is what law and order looks like under Donald Trump. Chaos created from the top to crush dissent from the bottom. And the criminality didn't stop with this. And that's what I want to delve into next. Donald Trump has already packed his second-term cabinet with loyalists. He's threatened deportation as political punishment. He's expanded executive authority in ways we have not seen in modern history. These are real changes that are happening right now. And what's even more alarming is that a lot of the media is either glossing over the worst of it or they're reframing it so it all sounds a little more palatable. And that is why I use Ground News. This is a news comparison tool. Doesn't just feed you headlines. It shows you here's how different outlets, left, right, center, are covering the same story. And this is one of the few tools I know of that can really help you detect the political spin, the bias, catch stories that your usual sources might downplay or not cover at all, on everything from immigration policy to economic shifts. If you want to get a bigger picture, a broader picture of what's being reported, Ground News is an invaluable source to keep you informed. And Ground News is offering my audience 40% off their top tier Vantage plan. You'll only pay $5 a month. Go to ground.news/Pakman or enter the code Pakman in the app to get started. The link is in the description.